one of the biggest undisputed heavyweight Dexter Lawrence collector in the universe. Giants Nation, please welcome Joe at Bars Cards. Joe, welcome to the podcast.
What's going on, man? Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Dude, absolutely electric to have you on. And as I was just saying before the show started, you were someone I started following last year, like I think like probably October, November, and how I
Yeah.
found you was just on Instagram through a reel of this amazing, beautiful Dexter Lawrence card on like a 360 rotating cylinder that looked awesome. I'm like, smash the follow button because I want to see some more of this. So I think where I want to get started with you on today's episode is just talking about the sports card industry, collecting, and how you got into specifically work, collecting Dexter Lawrence and your just appreciation for him.
Yeah, man. Let's get into it. So before I start with that, I just want to say this episode, if you know me, this episode's gonna have a lot of you heard it here first kind of stories and moments, you know what I mean? Because not a lot of people ask me this stuff. So
Love it.
let's do the tell all.
Love
So
it.
how I got into sports cards. A lot of people think that I've been into football and sports cards my whole life. I mean, I was born in '96, so obviously I grew up in that Pokemon era, that Yu-Gi-Oh era,
Absolutely.
Derek Jeter playing on the Yankees era. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
collected cards when I was a kid, and then you grow out of it, you get rid of your cards, and then COVID hit, and then boom, the card market just exploded.
hmm
But at that time, I didn't get into cards. I saw them on my Instagram, my reels, and everything, but I didn't get into it. I got into cards after COVID when I started dating my girlfriend. Right? She helped me get into cards more than anyone. I mean, I already had an interest, but I started dating her. She's a massive football fan. She's a Steelers fan. So,
Okay. Oh
woo,
wow.
right?
A
Yeah,
house
yeah,
divided,
right.
right? Like a little
Oh,
bit. But
dude,
at least they're
I'm
not
telling
in
you.
they're not in the NFC, so
Exactly. So I
you can
have no
kind of
problem
root
with
for
it,
them both.
right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't even a big football fan when we first started dating. So 2 years in, we started watching football, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is awesome. I'm back watching football because I was a kid who I never really understood the sport. I was
Yeah,
always like,
totally.
my family's a huge football family. They love it,
Yeah.
right? They're big Giants fans, and I'm just
Yeah.
a kid sitting at the table like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. But anyways, I
Right.
started dating my girl. We started watching football, and that's kind of what just slingshot me into like sports cards because I'm like, oh, I remember collecting cards. This stuff's going on anyways. Let me get back
Yeah.
into it, and it just exploded from there.
That's
That's how I
amazing.
really got into
That's
cards.
actually a
Yeah,
cool story. Like I had no
yeah,
idea
right.
about that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it was all thanks to
No, it's
her.
funny. Your girl too is also a Steelers fan. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
at least that gives you some rooting interest in
it
the,
does.
AFC. And also there
Yep,
is like the Mara family is connected to the Rooney family from an ownership perspective. So,
exactly.
it's not too far removed
No,
from
no,
Giants
definitely
Nation.
not. Definitely not.
Cool. No, and that's funny too. And that's kind of like what brought me back into sports card collecting was during COVID. One of my buddies, one of my best friends, who's actually a Cowboys fan, unfortunately, but he's been huge on cards and he was telling me about it and everything. And then it was booming, obviously, during COVID. And
oh
I
yeah,
think just as we've seen from a societal perspective, right, the want for more physical media and things that you own that are yours that you could hold and see as opposed to like, all the digital stuff that was going on for a while. But
exactly.
I, you
Yeah,
know, I think it was so fun to get back in and kind of find that inner, child that you had, and it's like, oh, I remember, sports cards in the 90s, the Derek Jeter cards, the Jordan cards, the
yeah,
Ken Griffey
yeah,
Jr. cards, right?
yeah, yeah, man.
So it's been fun to get back into it. And of course, I really got into it in 2021. And one guy who was kind of a provocative character on the Giants who had a lot of hype and started and had a couple good games and then fell off a cliff was I got heavily invested in Kadarius Tony, which all
Oh
of the
my God! Oh, cinder
yeah.
block hands. Nice.
Yeah, all of those cards are probably worthless. Like I could just go throw them into the dumpster now, but it was fun to
Yeah,
get back into it. And I was like, oh yeah, like I'm rooting for him like on top of already as much as I already was. But
yeah,
then he
yeah.
just, did all
He
yeah,
just fell
he just
off
went
and
crazy.
got into it, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is
That's
funny.
funny
So I
though,
wanted to start with that little story because I was
dude.
like,
That's awesome.
I'll go through my personal collection and just find so many Kadarius Tony cards, and I'm like,
Ah,
oh my God, like this is so dumb. Like,
yeah, yeah. Oh man,
um,
that's amazing.
yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, so I wanted to touch on too, like, honestly, when I saw you post the one time on Instagram about you actually met Dexter Lawrence, with a
Hmm.
bunch of cards, and I think he did some signings for you. And I was like, that was the first time in a while where I was like, I don't know you, we've never met in person before, but I was genuinely excited to see the look on your face when you're taking a photo with Dexter Lawrence, who's someone who seems like you idolize and you're a huge collector of his. So
Yeah,
tell me a little bit
dude.
more about that experience because he seems like the absolute man.
Oh, dude, he when you meet him, if you've never met him, he
Yeah.
is so down to earth and so nice. And I mean, you could say that about a lot of people,
Yeah.
football stars, whatever. But when you reach like Dexter Lawrence, like level of like hype and just whatever, and he's still that mellow, that chill, that
Yeah.
like cool dude. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's it's unreal. Meeting him was, oh my god, it was amazing. It was amazing. I loved it. I told him like, dude, first because he hurt his elbow in
Right,
that one
yeah,
game
he
when he
had the
was, yeah, yeah,
surgery
yeah.
like halfway
So
through last year after his
he had
amazing
the
whatever
yeah,
9 or 10
he had the
sacks.
cast. He had the cast on. So I'm like, dude, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? How's your recovery process going? Blah blah blah, whatever. Because I care about the dude. I want him to succeed.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's good. I can move it a little bit. Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, cool. That's great. Hi, how are you? I'm Joe. Shook his hand. I'm your
Yeah.
super collector. He's like, really? I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. I remember that. Oh god, that'll be ingrained in my memory forever. Really.
Yeah.
I had him sign some cards. Took a picture with him and Thibodeau because it was a dual signing, a dual event. But
Yeah.
this is actually set it out on the table. This is the card that I got signed by
That
them
is awesome.
in
And
National
that's like
Treasures out of 10.
oh man, wow, that's actually so sick.
Yeah, this is actually, as far as I can tell, this is the only one that I can find with like a dual colored patch. So I
Yeah.
saw it listed and I'm like, yeah, buy it now, duh. Because I'm gonna meet both of them eventually anyway, so this is a
Yeah.
perfect card to get
Yeah,
signed
no,
by
you'll
them.
have that forever, dude.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's a
yeah.
great add to the personal collection right
Oh dude,
there.
I love it. Dude, it
That
was
is
great.
awesome. No,
Oh
I'd
yeah.
love to hear that. And then any other Giants you're collecting, or anyone you think we should be buying low on, or, as the Giants again, we're off to an 0-3 start. Things are going off the
Yeah.
rails, but it does
Yeah.
lead to like from a collection standpoint, buying low on guys, right? Because
Yeah.
we know things can change pretty quickly season over season. So is there anyone you're looking to buy low on now or like who?
To buy low on now? I mean, yeah, surprisingly, and you wouldn't really think this, but Malik Neighbors, obviously,
Yeah.
you could get some of his rookie cards, really nice rookie cards for cheap, like this one. A rookie picks number 39 out of 49
Ooh.
with that. Look at that shimmer. Look how nice
That's
that shimmer
awesome.
is.
Yeah, you got the
You
red
can
in there too.
you can get a card like this for under $40.
Wow. That's pretty
It's
dope.
it's not bad, right? Same
Yeah,
thing with this.
absolutely.
Low number Malik Neighbors to 25.
Oh, I love
I
that with
love
the
I
little
love
play
that. That's
art
dude.
on it.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Nice purple shimmer like that.
Yeah.
Low rookie number to 25.
No, I
Again,
love that.
$30.
Yeah.
So he's
I
got some sneaky cards out there.
Yeah. No, and
You
I
know.
do so and it is tough because obviously, right, when rookies do come in, right, there is a little
Hmm.
bit of an overbuying or overpaying for in the market because
Yeah,
everyone wants the newest cards that have just dropped, right? So like I
exactly.
really don't want to pay up right now on Dart, even though, hey, if he goes 3-0 to start, then his price is gonna skyrocket,
Oh,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
And
It
then
you know
yeah,
most
and
of it's
then
about
seeing
hype.
absolutely, especially
You
at the
know.
quarterback position.
Oh,
I
dude,
do
it's
need to
ridiculous.
find a good card that I do want to invest in with his. And then Skattebo, I saw you had an amazing Skattebo card posted the other day, and yeah, no, he's a great, just absolute. Oh, there it is, right there. Love
He's
it.
a dog, dude. He's a
Yeah, no, I
dog. The
mean,
tricolor patch to 199. Oh, love it.
that's amazing, and yeah,
Hmm.
also to touch base on, I actually was at the game on Sunday night too. Saw you actually on the jumbotron where I was like Leonardo DiCaprio meme. I'm like, I know that guy.
Yeah, you
Getting
sent
the
me that
crowd
message and just
going
like, oh
and,
my god, that's
and
hilarious.
pumped up. So that looked like a really cool moment. But I think the point that I'm trying to make about this and tie it to Skattebo is he's someone that when you watch play in person, it comes off so differently than on TV. Like
It
he
does,
is just
yeah.
literally like I don't know, one of the Marvel characters who's just like running through walls or something like that. You're like he's looks like he's
Yeah,
trying to get hurt, but he's just so tough
yeah.
and strong that it's amazing to see in person too.
I was telling my cousin, who's also a huge Giants fan, like, dude, this dude reminds me of, like, he runs like he's mad at the ground. He's trying to hurt the people across from him, right? You know what I mean? And it,
Yeah.
it got me thinking, who else used to run like that? I immediately thought of two people: Brandon Jacobs, right? Oh, dude,
Yep.
that dude, you couldn't stop him. He's huge.
Yeah.
He's a monster, and he's a
Yeah.
running back. Brandon
Absolutely.
Jacobs, and I know he's at a different position, but Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah.
You remember how he played? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, right?
Yeah. No, Shockey's one of my favorite players ever. But
Oh,
yeah,
he's just
that
running through people,
lowers
just
the
like that.
shoulder and just tries to put, your shoulder pad through a guy's chest or your face
That's it.
mask, right? Like,
That's it. Yeah,
and he's doing it in all facets of the game. So,
I know.
in
It's
terms of
amazing.
running, catching the ball in the backfield, which, we saw him actually do at Arizona State
Yep.
in the college football playoff game versus Texas last year, which was like one of the best single, individual performances we've seen in quite some time. But then also blocking, right? Like that's a
Yeah,
huge question mark for a lot of these rookie
dude.
running backs is can they
I'm telling
block?
you.
Like Saquon was knocked for that, right? Where they weren't even going to
Mm,
play him on some downs because he
no, they
couldn't block.
wouldn't. Exactly.
So it's interesting to see him come in and dominate all three facets, and
I
then,
know. It's so
um,
fun to watch, man. But
yeah,
that's the thing.
absolutely,
He said, like Skattebo said this, that when he was playing in college, he was bad at blocking. He was really bad at it. But then we see him do it against, what was it, the Cowboys, right? Was it the
yeah,
Cowboys? Yeah, we saw him do it against the Cowboys, and boom, that's when what do you call it? Russell Wilson threw it to Neighbors for that giant first down
yeah,
for like 20 yards. Like
yeah,
perfect. We couldn't have made that play without Skattebo blocking. And he's a big, stocky, muscular guy. You know what I mean? He can
yeah.
do it. He just needs the practice for it. And then he'll have the running game down, he'll have the blocking down, and we've already seen him catch downfield. So perfect. It'd be
Yeah,
great to see
no,
once he performs at that level.
absolutely. And I think that's like
Oh yeah.
why I don't think I still, even though we're 0-3, I still feel like there are ballers on this team that
Mm,
with proper coaching and can build a good scheme, you're not really that far away from changing things, right? And I think a
no.
great example of this, even though the coaching was, I think, a little bit better, obviously, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? When they had a really good team, they had Godwin, they had Leonard
Yep.
Fournette, they had Evans,
Yeah.
a decent O line, and then you plug Tom Brady in instead of Jameis, you get to a Super Bowl one year. I'm not saying the
Exactly.
Giants are at that level now, but I think the more you can accumulate
Mm,
playmakers and guys that are good for a culture and want to do all the little things like blocking as a running back, I think that
agreed.
just little small things that move us progressively towards being a contender.
Oh yeah. It's just hard finding that, what do you call it? That diamond in the rough to take the team to the next level, because our
Right.
pieces are there. They have the training. They've proven to us time and time and again that they're good. Like Wandale Robinson, we proved that he's amazing. He's great.
Yeah.
Neighbors, obviously, the Skattebo, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, what do you call it? The defenders? Brian Burns, Thibodeau, Carter. I would like to see more from Carter, but we
Yeah.
know these players are good and they have the training. We just need the cohesion. We need them to work together, and we need that one piece that'll just click and make the
Yeah.
team what we know what it is.
And I think, to your point there, it's a great point and about cohesion and stuff along those lines. But I think we saw it in person, right, with the Chiefs
Mm,
last weekend. They lose Xavier Worthy, who's their number one option and wide
yeah,
receiver. They're still running plays that they would run with Worthy, but then they're plugging in other guys. Some
I
guys
know.
I've never even heard of, and then you got Tyquan Thornton, who looks awesome. So
Yeah,
I think from a coaching perspective, what other teams do well that the Giants haven't done well the last few years, and this also goes for the Commanders, I think they've done an excellent job of this, is creating game plans for the strength of who they have on, like, based on how their
yeah,
skill set is, right? Where I think for too long with Brian Daboll, it was like, well, this is the offense that worked with Josh Allen, so Daniel Jones, this is what you're doing. Instead
yeah,
of being like, how can I bring the most out of Daniel Jones with his skill set, which I think the Colts are
yeah.
obviously doing a great job of
Oh,
now.
100%. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was kind of like my point, just to see like how interesting, like, and I don't know, like with the future of this Giants coaching staff, are they going to be able to do that with Jackson Dart, which makes me a little bit nervous, right?
Yeah, that's one of the aspects that I'm a little with.
Yeah, so let's go into that, right? We had the big news yesterday. 0-3. You lose 3 games. One game was competitive against a Cowboys defense that has looked absolutely terrible. Caleb Williams ripped them up last weekend. So you almost have to
Mhm.
take that game with a grain of salt. Taking that away, you're 0-2 versus two teams with okay defenses and real defenses, and you looked pretty bad in both of those games. So it leads us to where we're at now in week 4. They make the change from Russell Wilson to Jackson Dart. So Dart will be starting at home 1 p.m. Sunday versus the Chargers, who are 3-0. So I know you had posted a video about this, so I want to let you cook here, but you
Okay.
know, your thoughts on letting Jackson Dart start against the 3-0 Chargers?
I am very nervous. I'm gonna admit I'm more nervous than I am excited. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I am excited, but
Yeah.
oh God, I don't think it's the smart play to have Dart start
hmm
against a really good team as the Chargers at home. You know what I mean? And I'll tell
Yeah.
you why. The Giants can code it up and dress it up however they want. It's not nice weather out here for them to play. So it rained last night. It's going to rain tonight. It's going to rain tomorrow, and it's probably going to rain on Friday. I don't care that you have that Saturday is going to be nice and that Sunday is going to be nice. That grass is not going to be ready weather wise for Dart to play for a stadium that's known to tear up ACLs. That's known
Yeah.
for it. You know what I mean? I would
Yeah.
rather the Giants start Russell Wilson or even Jameis to play the Chargers and then play it safe and have Dart start against the Saints week 5 and play in the dome because they're going to go be playing at the Saints Stadium in the dome. Nicer
Yeah.
weather, a little better controlled environment for him to start and play. And let's admit it, the Saints are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
No,
think that would be
absolutely.
the smart play. But
Yeah.
again, I got no say. I got no pull when it
Yeah,
comes to the
no,
team.
no. There
So
are some things I agree with, and then there are some things of like, and I think that before the season had started, they kind of said like if it gets to 0-3 and Russell Wilson doesn't
yeah,
look
I
any
heard that
good,
too.
that they would make this change to either Jameis or Jackson Dart, and I think they probably would have went to Jameis if Jackson
Yeah,
Dart didn't have as strong of a preseason, right? And look, as
yeah,
against whatever guys who probably cut from other teams, but I think the point is leading up to this week, right? Like you know, if they didn't even have, if they had, say they had Tommy DeVito and Jameis, or they didn't even have Russell Wilson, right? Like
yeah.
Jackson Dart could have maybe even been a week 1 starter, right? Obviously, it's
He
not
could have been. Yeah,
ideal when you're having him play against a 3-0 team, but I think the point is with this is there's never going to be really truly an ideal start to really wet your beak unless you're Michael Penix Jr. and you're playing the terrible Giants at home in the for the Falcons, right? Last season
yeah,
when that
yeah. You're
happened.
right.
But it's never going to be ideal. But now here's the thing, it's a way that he'll be able to learn on the fly. Hopefully, and I think the big thing here is confidence crushing. And the way the offensive line has been the last few years doesn't really give us that optimism that they can hold up against a good defensive front, and give, a rookie quarterback enough time to see see everything down the field, have enough time to make a decision. And then there's the flip side of it for me, right? Like I got the cautious side and then the optimistic side of like this is a guy who played in the SEC for a number of years. He's used to playing in tough environments. MetLife Stadium, I don't even know what their turf is now because I know the World Cup's next summer, and I think
Yeah,
they had to change some stuff where they tweaked it a little bit. So I don't know exactly like if it's truly grass or what at this point, because there's been so much conflicting stuff. But I think
I know.
you know them having him start at home week 1 will bring, I think, a way more optimistic crowd, um,
Oh yeah, definitely.
an excitement, but also you get to see him start at home, right? And what happens
Yeah.
if they win a game or he leads a game-winning drive and they win 17-16 or something along those lines? We're
Oh
fully
man.
back in.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's gonna drive the hype
Yeah,
so much. We're just gonna die hard Dart. Blah blah blah. I guarantee
yeah,
you, T-shirts are gonna be made. His card
yeah.
prices are gonna skyrocket past what they are now. It's going to be
Yeah.
insane. It's going to be
Yeah.
insane.
So I'm pretty excited for this weekend, 1
Yeah.
p.m. Sunday. And then after that, you mentioned, he goes on the road versus the Saints. The Saints are blah. They're 0-3. They don't really have many answers, right? But I will say, even when they do suck, like the Superdome somehow is a place to play because it has the energy. You get the crazy fans there. There'll be like Saints Darth Vader, Saints Pope guy in the crowd. Like they all
Yeah.
come out like
Yeah.
psychopaths.
Oh yeah.
Whether they're good or bad, right? Like so they're always so into it. Um, but yeah, so we'll see how the next couple weeks go. But I did want to end talking about Jackson Dart and the quarterback situation on one thing, right? The last 2 years we've seen, I think they said 8 starting quarterbacks, and Russell Wilson week one was the ninth in the last 2 seasons, right? So I
Yes.
mean, I hope and pray Jackson Dart is able to, be as healthy as possible throughout this season, but injuries happen, unfortunately, and I wouldn't be surprised just with how bad the offensive line has been if you didn't see Russell Wilson again or Jameis at some point, just
Yeah.
based on Jackson Dart had me a little concerned in the preseason that he wasn't figuring out how to slide. And
Yeah.
when you're in the NFL and you don't have that down, you're going to get messed up. This happened to Jaden Daniels a bunch of times already.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, that is a big concern. I know in one of the preseason games, Dable pulled him aside after Jackson Dart ran the ball and just took hit the
Yeah.
shoulder. He told him, "You need to slide."
Yeah.
And let's just hope that's one of the things that he remembers to do on Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen. The pocket's going to collapse on him, and he's going
Yep.
to have to run out of it. If he slips out of it and he runs, he's got to slide. I don't care if he gets a 1 yard gain, 2 yard gain. You got to slide. Just be safe. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, 100%. And yeah, I mean, I think that'll be in his year, and hopefully, maybe we'll see finally for the first time that Brian Dable was able to draft someone that he wanted to develop. Maybe I'm still being like
Yeah,
optimistic about Dable, or maybe he just sucks and it'll never change, and they'll probably get canned this year, and then they'll restart the whole process with a new coach and GM that don't have
yeah,
an allegiance to Jackson Dart, right? But I like to
yeah.
hope to give Dable one last chance to say, what can you do with a guy that is essentially your guy? How can you mold him? How can you make him this NFL caliber player? Because everyone went to bat for Brian Dable about Josh Allen, who, let's be honest, seems like he's doing pretty good without Brian Dable, right?
Dude,
So,
he's so good. He's
yeah,
so good right now. But yeah,
yeah,
no, I'm a little optimistic on Dable too. I would love for him to stay,
yeah,
but he's walking the line, and it's rough seeing him not Dable not coach up to his potential. For lack of a better term, because we know
yeah.
he can do it. It sucks watching.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point. It's going to be very interesting because I felt like so much of the Giants' game plan this first 3 weeks was very vanilla. They run the
Yeah,
same packages, they run the same personnel. You kind of know when they do a full house backfield, they're going to hand it off to Skattebo or do the read option. Um, and the red zone play calling has just been an abomination. So
it's been
maybe they were
garbage.
just like hoping for this moment where his hand could be forced to start Dart, and maybe he has a bunch of plays that he hasn't used yet. Let's hope, especially in the red
Oh,
zone, to make a young quarterback's life easier when that field does get shortened down. Make
yeah,
a quick decision. Whether, that was one thing too that we never saw a lot of. Why not throw some fades to Malik Neighbors? We're chugging it 60 yards down the field to him, but whatever happened to a nice old fashioned goal line fade? Come on.
exactly, exactly. I mean, it's become bland and unfortunately, it's become boring and it's predictable. You can
Yeah.
see what they're doing before they
Yeah.
do it. How they're lining
Yeah.
up. Okay, and then we can't get the game.
Yeah. And that's something we're seeing. I
I
can't even
know. If the
imagine if I
fans are
was a
seeing it,
defensive
like
coordinator. If I'm a defensive coordinator in the NFL, I'm making money and I'm sleeping in my office every night. I have the Giants on the calendar coming up. I'm like, all right, nice. This is very basic. We're just gonna, we don't have to do too much. And now the
exactly.
the worst part, and we could talk about, we could pivot to the rest of the season, but one thing that made me very concerned about the Sunday night Chiefs game that we saw was Steve Spagnuolo. Obviously, we love him. I think he's a Hall of Fame defensive
Yeah,
coordinator.
yeah,
But he knows how to develop a great game plan. And what he did essentially was let's just take away Malik Neighbors and make someone else on the Giants team step up. No one else was able to do that besides Skattebo. So
Mm.
that is something that concerns me. Now it's on tape. If I was a coordinator from another team, I would just mimic exactly what Spagnuolo did.
Oh, 100%. And you can't argue that he knows what he's doing, Spagnola. And he was
Yeah,
smart, isolating neighbors and double teaming him almost all night. And like you said,
yeah,
forcing someone else to do it. It's just,
yeah,
oh, we had
and
no argument for it. We couldn't do
yeah.
anything about it.
Right. And that's the point of where it becomes a chess match, right? Where you
Exactly.
have you have your guy in neighbors, they're taking him away. How can you actually, develop a game plan or something to get him open creatively, right? The Chiefs do a good
Exactly.
job of it. The
They
Giants,
do
not so much.
somehow. Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
telling you. I'm
Um,
telling you.
but cool. So yeah, no, I think we'll get to wrapping this up. I do want to thank you again for your time.
Of course.
Any words of optimism you should leave the Giants fans with today?
Words of optimism. All
Or
right. If you
cautious, optimism or
if you're like me and you're like Bob here, you got to stay hopeful. You got to stay
always.
loyal. You got to stay loyal to your
Yeah.
team. You know what I mean? And no matter how things turn out, whether we only get 2 wins this year or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to stay loyal. You got to stay hopeful, and you got to stay hyped for your team. Don't do it for you. Do it for the players on the field. Do it for the Giants and every player in the past who's worn the jerseys, played for the Giants. Do it for the all-time greats. Do it for them. Do it for the belief of the team because I got to tell you, I'm never going to stop believing in this team. I don't know about you. I'm
Wow.
never going to stop
You
believing in
got me
this
ready
team.
to run through a wall there. That is the pump up speech for true fandom for life.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
Awesome.
Being,
Well, Joe, where else can my audience find you on social media or anything along those lines? I believe it's at bars_cards on Instagram, but anywhere else?
no, man. I mean, I'm predominantly on Instagram, like you said.
Yeah.
Uh, Instagram is BARZ_CARDZ. Bars cards.
Awesome. Love it. Well, Joe, thank you so much for your time. I'll definitely continue to follow your page and check out any new updates that you have, especially in the card game. But yeah, thanks again for your time. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll chat again soon. Appreciate you,
Of
bro.
course, man. Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Cool.